What's up, you guys? Anthony here, and in this video, I want to show you how I made over $124,000 in sales in the last 30 days with my branded dropshipping business using only image ads. And I want to show you step by step how to create image ads from scratch. Now, what we're not going to do is create the image ads like the ones that you see all the tutorials of on YouTube. So if you've tried image ads in the past, including my own tutorials, like this is a garbage tutorial, including all of these, what we're not going to do is create the very standard image ads that you see on YouTube. Instead, what we're going to create is we're going to create an ad style, which I like to call. I haven't heard anyone call it this, so I'm not going to say I invented it, but I'm definitely going to claim it. So we're going to create an ad style with our image ads that I like to call the native MSL, or in other words, native mini sales letter. And what the native mini sales letter is a style of image ad whereby we take an image that looks completely native to the platform, meaning it looks nothing like an ad, and we pair that with a mini sales letter style copy, often written in the form of a personal story from the point of view of our customer. You can also write these from the point of view of the brand as well, but long form copy basically is what an MSL is, and typically the MSL is going to be anywhere from 700 on the absolute low end all the way up to as high as 2,500 words. Okay, so it's long ass copy, right? Now, the reason why long form copy is so effective, especially compared to short form copy, is that with long form copy, you can take someone on a narrative journey and persuade them to buy your product, and you have much more real estate. You literally have more words to be able to sell someone. Just imagine if you were tasked with selling a car and you could say only 10 words versus 10,000 words. You'd probably have a much easier time, just logically speaking, and using our common sense, selling someone if you could capture their attention and feed them more information compared to less information. So if you look at any self-help subreddit, like r/self-improvement, this guy's telling you, hey, I think I am full anti-goon now. And as you can see, he goes through this entire narrative journey and he discusses, hey, I've been on NoFap for most of my adult life. I'm now 30, really not too thrilled about my life. And he basically is describing to you all of these pain points and all of these habits. And because he is not, or rather we should say, because he is starting from a standpoint that is very relatable, that is genuine, you're more likely to actually read the rest of this, and you're more receptive to what he has to say because he's opening up with vulnerability and describing his current situation, which is a situation that other people in this audience can relate to. Now, obviously, stopping gooning is a little bit different than selling e-commerce products online, but it's the same idea, right? If you look at any info marketers ads, like info marketers have mastered the art of the native mini sales letter. If we just look up Gym Launch, which is Alex Hormozi's, I think he still has ownership in this, but this is, his massive company that he sold for, I think, like $40 million. Info marketers have mastered long form copy, right? And it's simple because when you're selling info, when you're selling coaching, you need a lot of persuasion to get someone to whip out their credit card and buy a program, or whip out their credit card and buy a high ticket coaching offer. So long form copy, a lot of people are like, when they see my ads, they're like, who's reading all that stuff? And info marketers are still using long form copy. And just because they're selling info, right, we can use the same principles to sell products. Okay. So if we go back, right, native MSL is from 700 to 2,500 words. Okay. We're leveraging the long form copy and the platform of Facebook to be able to tell a story and persuade someone to buy our product. So I want you to think of this as a native mini sales letter, but you can also think of this as testing out your advertorial, okay? And what's great with this is what we do, to let you guys know, is what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our native mini sales letter, okay? And we're gonna use the native mini sales letter to basically just smoke test for our messaging. What I mean by that is, instead of what most people do is they hear advertorials are great and they try to just write advertorials from scratch. What we're going to do is we're going to use our native mini sales letter, which is again, long form copy plus a native image. And we're going to use that to basically test what combinations of messaging would work on the advertorial. Then once we figure out what's working, now we go write the advertorial. So the messaging that we test on the native mini sales letter is And that leads into step 2, which is we're going to test for, you guys, anyone who watches my channel regularly is going to feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but that's because we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. So the messaging that we're going to test for with our native mini sales letter is the desire. Then we're going to test for the angle. Okay. Then we're going to test for, lastly, awareness. Okay. So desire, angle, awareness. Those are the 3 things that we're going to test. So native mini sales letter, native image, plus a 700 to 2,500 word mini sales letter ad copy. And then we're going to be testing for desire, angle, and awareness. And then once we find the winning combination of those 3 things, now we go write the advertorial. And we do all of this with image ads. So let me show you now how I write these native mini sales letters in like the next 3 minutes. And if you follow the sequence step by step from step 1 all the way down to 3, you will literally hit $1,000 a day, no problem. You don't need any video ads to get to $1,000 a day. It's a common misconception, especially because if you look up how to make, if we just look up how to make drop shipping ads, right, like this, pretty much none of the tutorials are gonna show you how to make video ads. They're how to make image ads. They're all like video ad tutorials first, okay? So let's start out by building our first native mini sales letter together. And the first part of that is gonna be finding the native image. So what I want you to do is think about your product that you have currently. Think about any pain points or any experiences or any locations, basically any story context that's related to your product. So for example, if I'm selling a product that is for getting, let's say I'm selling a dog probiotic supplement, right? I'm probably going to look for photos of dogs either looking happy, owners and their dogs looking worried, maybe a dog in the veterinarian hospital. So what I'll do is I'll go into Google, Facebook, okay? Oh, wait. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to add a site, facebook.com, and I just typed in dogs looking sick. What this is going to do now is give me all of the images that have been posted to Facebook of dogs that are looking sick. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll Google images. And as you can see, we have a bunch of potential images here. And I'm just going to select the first one that catches my eye. So there's already a couple that catch my eye. Now, the key thing here is, especially if you're selling a problem-solving product or a pain-relieving product, you don't want to pick something that's just over the top, like a dog dying, right? That's not what's going to grab attention. You want to choose images. The way that I would describe it in the course is things that are hard not to look at, okay? And things that are hard not to look at can be good, and they can also be bad, right? To me, this is pretty hard not to look at, right? But that's also hard not to look at. I mean, this guy's just adorable, right? So that is also hard not to look at, right? So what we can do is find an image. Let's say we like this one, okay? And we're going to save that image, okay? Then we're going to go into an app called Higgsfield. Now, inside of Higgsfield, what's great with this app is you can pretty much remake any image. Now, I think Google Gemini has caught up to this. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are using Gemini to recreate images. But for now, I'm still using this app called Higgsfield. And what's really cool with this is I can upload an image instead of a prompt. So I don't have to prompt. All I need to do is upload whatever image that I want to recreate. And so now Higgsfield is going to take this image and basically use this as the prompt. So it's basically like create an image that looks like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and press generate, which then allows me to use images, right? What's great with this method is these images are native because they're already posted on Facebook. So these are not ads, right? If you click on any of these are going to take you to actual Facebook posts, like non-ad related Facebook posts. And those are perfect for native mini sales letters. So now while this is cooking and we're creating this, what we're going to do is write our ad copy. So I'm going to show you a very foolproof way to write the ad copy. First thing we're going to do is enter in the description of this video. You guys have access to all of my AI prompts for doing research, writing copy, writing ads, writing advertorials. So it's in the description. Now I'm going to go through a very quick run through of this prompt here. So I'm going to go to Pet Lab Co. And let's say I was, having a dog supplement that was going to be competing against these guys. Let's say I was going to sell their probiotic chews. What I'm going to do is go to their sales page, scroll all the way down, and then I'm going to go all the way up to the top. And then I have this Chrome extension, which is called Go Full Page. And if I press Go Full Page, it's going to capture the entire screen. Okay. So let this capture everything. Okay, sweet. So now I have a full copy of their sales page, which, by the way, shout out to Mark Bill's Brands for showing me this. He didn't show me it directly, but I saw it in one of his videos, and it's so good for capturing sales pages. I used to use like link to PDF. This is way better. So download this. Then what we're going to do now is we're going to, let's check on the Higgs field images. Okay, not done. Enter in a very simple prompt. Entered in this very simple prompt. This is my competitor's sales page. We're going to dropship a highly similar product. I want you to analyze the sales page and extract from it the primary mass desired these guys are targeting. So we just press enter there. Yeah, I don't know where it got hair supplements from. That was so weird. Okay, sweet. So here's our primary mass desire, right? So again, we're running through this very haphazardly because I'm trying to get through this for a video, but hopefully you can see the point. Obviously, you would need to do some research. It would be better if you do research and more effective by doing some research first. But let me just show you from here how easy it is to actually come up with the ad copy. So next we're going to use prompt number 7. So now we're actually using the prompts from the document. So we're going to enter prompt number 7, and all you're going to do now is grab whatever the primary mass desire is, and you just paste it in like that, and you press enter. And so now it's going to come up with a few different marketing angles that we can use to write the copy. Okay, so let's see here. All right, perfect. Let's just go with angle number 1 for the purposes of example. So the silent sufferer. Next, what we're going to do is go into our paint diving document, and we're going to go to, I believe it's prompt 6. Yep. Okay, so prompt number 6 is where we're now going to create what I call the desire testing ad copy. Now, I prefer 1,200 to 1,400 words. What I have seen is that certain niches respond better to 500 to 600 words. Certain niches respond better to 2,000 words. For example, my niche right now, if I write anything beyond like 900 words, 1,000 words, I get flooded with comments like, this is bullshit. I'm never watching this, or I'm never reading this. Who's got time for this? Whereas I know other niches, you can write 3,000 words and it's a totally different experience. So test and see what's going to work for you in terms of the length. But I'm going to go with, let's go with just a clean 1,500 words. And then the mass desire that we're targeting, okay, which if we go back is this one. And let's go ahead and press generate. Now, keep in mind, this is all done as quickly as possible for the purposes of the video. But when you're actually creating any marketing assets, whether that's ads, landing pages, you need to make sure that you're doing research and have some updated research prompts that I haven't released on YouTube yet. Stay tuned for that. But for now, prompt number 1 in this paint diving document, use this in Google Gemini and replace 20 with 100, and you will get significantly stronger results than this. So here is our long form ad copy, and this is now generating. Okay, so the vet called it just allergies for the 3rd time. I hung up the phone and looked at Belle scratching herself raw again. She'd been my running partner for 7 years. Every morning at 5:30 a.m. we'd hit the trails together, her golden fur catching sunrise, tail wagging like she won the lottery. But for months now, she barely made it to the mailbox. So this is our long form copy, right? This is what we're actually going to be testing. And so now let's go to Higgs field and let's grab our image. So this guy is adorable. Look at this guy, right? Who is not going to want to look at this guy, right? So we're going to download this. Okay, so now that we've downloaded this, let me show you what the native mini sales letter looks like as an actual example. So we've got our image. Okay, so here's our image ad. All right, so now we have the image, and now let's go grab the ad copy that we just generated. Okay, and paste it in. Okay, there's our ad copy. And a lot of you guys are probably, if you've never run this style of ad before, you're probably like, no one's going to read that. Just run it and let the results speak for itself. But now we have, okay, native image. Okay, native image. So that's check. And we have our long form copy. That's check. So now what we need to do is, especially if you're running this for the first time, now if you already know, like if you're watching my channel and you already know what masses are your product best, or what masses are your audience best responds to, you already know the angle, you already know the awareness level, then skip to writing these style of ads for these specific elements, right? Like no need to go back to mass desire testing if you already know that. But if you're brand new and you're just starting out, what you're going to do is you're going to create 5 versions of this long form copy using the same image, and then you're going to only test 5 mass desires. Okay, then you're going to see what the best performing mass desire is. Then you're going to take that mass desire, and now you're going to test 5 angles. And then you're going to find what's the best combination of desire plus angle. Then you're going to go test that across the 5 awareness levels, which I just did a video on that recently, but I'll explain more in a future video. Then once you have the combination of the winning desire, angle, and awareness level, then you go write the advertorial. And once you write the advertorial, usually most people are pretty profitable and at $1,000 a day without the advertorial, just by testing specific messaging elements. But the advertorial is what's seriously going to take you to that next level and get you to $1,000 a day as quickly as possible. So that's it. That is the style. That's how I create them step by step. I mean, I'm literally doing this like constantly for my own brand, and our students are doing it inside of God Tier Ecom as well. And that's the full tutorial. So you just repeat this process across however many desires and angles that you want to test, and then you are good to go. And really quick, I just want to show you how powerful this method is, because as I mentioned, right, once you start with just desire testing and just being intentional with the messaging that you're actually testing inside of your ad account, you're going to get really, really strong performance, right? But once you add the advertorial after you've gone through and tested, I'm trying to find the results really quick. Here it is. So Brandon over here, basically, shout out to you, Brandon, if you're watching this, but he launched an advertorial and completely shot up his performance. Here it was. Okay, so he said, we did it. Yesterday was the first official 1K day. Launched an advertorial for this product yesterday, and my CPAs cut in half. Okay, so this is the power of advertorials. If you get something working to a product page and you know what specific messaging is working for that, you can replicate that onto a landing page. You build it out on an advertorial, and your CPAs will decrease significantly, just as Brandon did here. I mean, he literally dropped his CPAs in half, because you got to keep in mind that with an ad, right, the most someone's going to spend on an ad, especially an image ad, right? Majority of your audience isn't going to read it. You're going to get maybe 5% of people at most to actually read the entire thing. And most people, the average person, is going to spend about 10 seconds, right? Okay. If you contrast that with an advertorial, okay, an advertorial, I've checked my average duration time, okay, it's 200 seconds. So the average person is spending 20 times as much time on an advertorial than they are on the ad, right? There's only so much information you can deliver to someone on an ad, especially on mobile, right? They're scrolling. But if someone clicks through and gets to the landing page and then they spend 200 seconds there, it's just, again, going back to like why info marketers use the long form copy. And if you had to sell a car, if you only had, 10 seconds versus 200 seconds, I guarantee you the people with 200 seconds would probably outperform the people with 10 seconds, right? And it's just pure math and common sense. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. As always, if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what kinds of videos you want to see next, because a lot of you guys were asking me about this strategy and how I write image ads. So that is why I created this video specifically. So if there's any topic you want me to cover, any burning questions that you have, let me know in the comments, because I just might make a video on it, and I'm trying to upload at least once every 48 hours with the goal of uploading every single day, which means if you leave a comment, there's a high probability that I'll see it and I'll create a video and answer that topic specifically for you. Now, everything that we covered is going to be linked in the description of this video, including all of my prompts. So if you click in the description, there's going to be a prompt that says pain diving prompt. Click that. That will contain all the prompts that you need to do market research, train your AI to be a copywriter, to write copy for the native mini sales letter, as well as your advertorials, and come up with desires and angles to test as well. So that is going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. As always, don't goon like this, guys. Don't goon like this guy. We're anti-goon now on this channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.